Welcome back to an episode of We Are Going on a Little Mission. Let's do the river thingy in the Howling Steppes. That should be pretty decent.
With autumn sun to warm your skin and a breeze on your back, the journey to the Howling Steppes is surprisingly pleasant. You sleep better than you have in months, and as you arrive at the border, you feel almost rejuvenated. The clean air, the vastness, inhospitable as the steppes may be, there is a certain peace to them. All the more surprising then, as the wind carries a stench towards you as you close in on the Alyani Village.
Here we are, the Howling Steppes.
As inviting as a crypt. Is it just me, or does it smell like undead arse here? Ugh.
You're right, it does. Come on, let's take a look around. The village is just up ahead.
Oh, huge bugs. Need to defeat them. Watch out. Oh.
By the... See that? What by the Guardians was that?
I have no idea. Some kind of mutated insect. Do you see that fog over there? That must be where that stench is coming from.
This doesn't bode well if you ask me. Let's find that village. Ugh, that smell. What is this?
I wouldn't go any closer. That's poison.
Well, at least we know where that stench is coming from. Curious to hear what the Alyani have to say about this. Greetings.
Leave.
Look, we don't mean any harm. We're here because we need your help.
And we don't want your help.
Zoema, what's going on here?
Kaiawu. Blessings. The world has blessed us with outsiders again.
You're not with the bandits, are you?
We're not bandits. We're from the Wolf Guard.
Wolfguard? I see.
Look, if you want shelter and provisions, we can set up a tent for you outside the village walls. But you cannot enter, period. Now leave.
I don't understand. Why can't we enter the village?
Because our faith demands that we avoid contact with outsiders, regardless of their intentions. Though...
We only came here to talk. We promise we won't cause any trouble.
How do I know you're telling the truth?
Let them pass, Waremu.
What? But the law...
Won't help us deal with the bandits or the plague, whereas the outsiders might. Let them pass. You may restock your provisions inside. When you're done, meet me in the eastern part of the village.
Stubborn boy. Fair enough, outsiders, you may enter. But we'll be keeping an eye on you.
An outsider? Oh, what blessings. Please, stay a while. Let us trade.
What do you have to trade?
Knowledge. Answers for answers. It is a rare opportunity to learn about the outside world. Come, ask me anything.
Why do you want to know about outsiders? I thought the Alyani shunned the outside world.
Our laws prevent many interactions with outsiders. That is true. And indeed, many of my kin want nothing to do with them. But I do not see it that way. Knowledge alone is not dangerous. It is what we do with that knowledge that matters. My curiosity is just that. Curiosity. That we should avoid something does not mean that we should not try to understand it. I, for one, would like to know why we keep the laws that we do.
That's a practical outlook.
It is. And one that has earned me many frowns around here. Pragmatism and Alyani often do not mix. All right, my turn. What would you say is the worst thing about the outside world?
War. There's always some noble or lunatic who wants to pick a fight, and it's always the common folk who suffer the most. It's endless.
Ah, yes. Violence. Our old stories hold true, then. Very well. Go on. Your turn again.
What do you know of the god of light?
You speak of Sheogded. I'm sorry, outsider. That is a question I cannot answer.
Why not? Because I'm an outsider?
That is part of it, yes. It is also a topic I personally do not like to dwell on. Shall we speak of something else instead?
What's your role in the tribe? Are you a hunter? A farmer?
I am one of the tribe's many gatherers. We do not farm, you see. The steppes do not allow for it. So instead, the gatherers scour the land for plants and roots. That is how we survive. All right, your turn. What is your home like? Greyfell, was it?
Imagine if the outcrop your village is built upon was man-made instead. Then imagine at least a dozen more of those, and between them are a sprawling web of homes and shops. That's Greyfell.
That sounds amazing. I should like to see it one day. That is, I should like to see a drawing of it, of course. It's your turn again.
I'll be going.
Ah, all right. Blessings to you then.
Sure.
You have to let this go, Taikana. She's with the ancestors now.
I know, but she's still out there. She deserves better.
Well, there's nothing that can be done. You know that.
Are you all right? Interesting.
You're that outsider, aren't you? Just keep walking, please.
Wait, Taikana, wouldn't they be able to help? You look as though you can defend yourself, outsider.
I suppose I can. What do you need help with?
My wife, Ihina, she went out to gather food a week ago. I told her to stay away from that bandit camp. But she insisted that's the only place you could still find berries. The bandits, they killed her.
Oh. I'm sorry.
I told her not to go. Sheog gets mercy. She deserves better than to rot on the steppes.
You didn't bury her?
We never found her body. After our last search, the chieftain forbade us from continuing. Said it was too dangerous.
Well, he also said it's time to let go, you know?
And who are you?
The name's Rita. I'm Ihina's sister. Please, outsider, tell my brother here that he needs to move on.
You don't think you should keep searching for her body?
Look, of course I want her found. She should have the full burial rights of our people, but not if it's going to cost the lives of everyone who loved her. Between the plague and the bandits, it's too risky. So no, I think we have looked as much as we can. She is with the ancestors now.
If you never found her body, how do you know she was killed by the bandits?
There were signs of a struggle and blood all over her campsite. There's no animal on the steppes that could do such a thing.
So you found where she was killed, but there wasn't a body?
No, she wasn't there. Maybe the bandits wanted to cover up their crime, or...
Now look what you've done, outsider.
Sorry. I'm not restricted by your chieftain's decree. I could search for her body.
You would do that? An outsider?
Absolutely.
I have business in the valley anyway. I can keep an eye out.
Oh, ancestors bless you. You have no idea how much that means to me. Start with her campsite. It's near the bandit camp. We were in a rush when we found it, so maybe we missed something.
Okay, I'll take a look.
I am on it.
Ah, I was hoping you would stop by.
You were?
Why, yes. We have not allowed outsiders into the village for nearly 40 years. As such, your actions here will be recounted in our stories. And since it's my honor to carry these stories, I was hoping to speak with you.
I'd like to learn more about your people. Are there any stories you can share?
Ah, you are interested in our stories. Well then, let me tell you of Kahi and the wind. In the earliest days, the winds ravaged all lands. It shaped mountains, carved waves in the oceans. Everything bowed to it. Our people struggled to exist in such chaos, until Kahi challenged the wind to a race. She held up a small stone. Whoever could retrieve the stone first would be the victor. The wind, confident in its power, agreed without hesitation. But when the race began, Kahi threw the stone into the lake. Though the wind blew with the strength of a cyclone, it could not reach the bottom of the lake. Kahi dove down and retrieved the stone. Enraged, the wind howled for having been tricked, but Kahi was not moved. She commanded the wind to be calm, so that our people might flourish. Still, the wind is devious, and it is said that when Kahi's spirit is not looking, it acts up and causes the storms that rage on the steppes. But Kahi's spirit always returns to remind the wind of its place.
That was an interesting story. Thanks for sharing with me.
My pleasure.
You mentioned the last time outsiders were allowed into the village was 40 years ago. What happened?
Yes. Many in the village chose not to remember, but I carry that story with me. A fierce storm had swept over the steppes. The howling winds and lashing rains kept the children awake for nights on end. On one of those nights, 3 outsiders appeared at the village gates. Traders, they claimed, who had been caught in the storm. One of them was gravely ill. Maiawa called them rotten and began to close the gates, until his mother, the chieftain, stopped him.
What happened next?
The outsiders were allowed to rest and recover in the village. Many of the people were uneasy, but they trusted the chieftain's decision. As soon as the storm cleared and the outsiders were well again, we sent them on their way. We never saw them again.
You nursed them back to health and then sent them away?
Perhaps you mistake kindness for friendship. Our chieftain bore no love for outsiders either, but she did respect our teachings. It was she who told them never to return.
Ah, I see. Thanks for the story.
Of course.
Nice.
I have to go now.
As you wish. Listen for the storm.
All right.
Leave here, outsider. No good will come from you poking around.
Look, I'm not here to cause any trouble.
Aren't you now? Well, what do you want then?
What's life like on the steppes?
Why do you want to know?
I'm just curious. Even without those beetles, it seems like a pretty desolate place to live.
Well, I won't lie. It is. Desolate, bleak, miserable. These are words I would use to describe the steppes.
Then why live here? Why not move?
Because it is home. It is where we are connected to our ancestors, to the truth of who we are. If we were to leave, no matter the ease of survival or the pleasantness of our surroundings, there would always be something missing. We would always be longing to return.
I see.
I hope you do, truly.
Why do you hate outsiders so much?
We do not hate. What you mistake for hatred is simply our way of saying no. No, you may not enter. No, you may not spread your outsider ways.
But why be so unfriendly? We haven't done anything.
So you claim. The simple truth is we do not owe outsiders anything. Not our friendship, not our customs.
I'll leave you alone then.
One can only hope.
Outsider, you found me. First of all, I hope you didn't take Zawema's distrust personally. It's just, well, we Alyani can be quite rigid when it comes to our traditions.
I noticed that. The name's General Arif, by the way. So, from what I gathered, your village is in some kind of trouble and you can use our help. Is that right?
Most of my people would disagree, but yes, I think we do. I assume you also didn't come here without a reason, did you?
You assume right. We need information about the god you worship.
Sheogdet? Ancestors, that's strange.
How so?
Well, it's a peculiar coincidence. But I think we should save the discussions for later. Let me be brief. Our village is in trouble, and that plague you probably saw on your way here is only part of it. About 2 weeks ago, a group of bandits appeared and took over most of the valley. They've effectively cut us off from our hunting grounds, and slowly but surely, we're running out of food. Now, our chieftain went to negotiate with the bandits, hoping that they could come to some kind of agreement. Even the wise women told him that it's too dangerous, but he wouldn't listen. It's been over 2 hours since he left.
You want to make sure he's all right.
Exactly. I may be mistaken, but you look as though you can handle yourself in a fight.
When you say The plague. I assume you mean those beetles and the fog.
And the fungi that are the root of the problem, yes. But, as I said, I'll explain later.
Your village does have guards though, doesn't it? Why didn't they go look for him?
Because the chieftain forbade anyone from leaving, and they don't dare violate his order. Also, we Alyani aren't... how should I put it? We aren't the most formidable fighters. It has to do with our faith, but there will be time for explanations later. Please, we must go.
What on Io is a group of bandits doing all the way out here?
We're asking ourselves the same thing. Then again, they don't look like ordinary bandits. They are well armed and have members from all races.
Fine. Where did your chieftain meet with these bandits?
West of the village. Come, I'll show you.
You there, outsider. Do you have a moment?
Absolutely,
Of
yes,
course.
I do.
If there's any
There you are. Blessings of the ancestors, outsider.
Likewise. What do you need?
Well, I heard about your arrival on the steppes. You have workers, don't you? Craftsmen?
Yeah.
Good. I am Kawu, the village architect. And I have a favor to ask of you. We are dangerously low on iron, but with everything going on, we don't have the means or the strength to collect more. And without iron, I can't keep the village from falling into disrepair.
And then your people will have even more problems on their hands.
Exactly. If your men could help us out, I'll give you something that could be of use to you.
When you say something of use, what exactly are you offering?
Something my daughter found in an old human outpost outside. Schematics that you might have use for.
Why trust me with this? I'm an outsider.
I can see that. But you're also my only option, and I'm tired of sitting on my hands.
You seem a lot less fatalistic than your fellow tribesmen. How come?
What do you want me to say? Brooding was never in my nature. I won't lie, though. I am afraid. Very afraid. But for now, all I can do is to keep going.
All right. We'll see what we can do.
That's all I can ask. Thank you.
cramp?
May I ask you something, Sir Wraith? If you're able to see souls, do you also see where they go when they die?
Oh yes. I call it the Valley of the Great Bling Bling. A place full of well-endowed maidens with flowers in their hair and where the rivers flow with honey.
You're joking.
Of course I am. If a soul dies, it's gone. There's no afterlife.
Oh, I see.
Whoa, that's
You
hard.
know the way, right?
Really?
And the soil shall rot, and the corrupted shall unleash the storm.
What was that?
Oh, just... never mind.
Oh, so it's true. Age doesn't just rot your old joints, but your brains. I told you, old man, we're staying.
There has to be some way we can see eye to eye. My people are starving, and...
I heard you the first time. Now I suggest you take your cane and hobble back to your village. Unless you want a reminder, huh?
You cannot!
Now look at those weapons. So you sheep have some fight in you after all, don't you?
Careful, General. Those are purity robes. They must be fugitives.
Right.
Look, sir, we mean you no harm. You should put down that weapon.
Oh, the way that soldier is looking at me says something else. Well, here to incarcerate us, aren't you? Well, tough luck. We're not coming with you.
Are you with the purity of light? You're wearing their robes.
Well observed. Yes, we used to be, but that was before the god our leader prayed to turned out to be rotten. Oh, terribly tragic and all, but, well, what can you do? We know better now.
What do you want from these people?
From them? Huh. Just to mind their own business.
We cannot mind our own business if you keep us from our hunting grounds. My people are starving.
Isn't that unfortunate?
Look, we're not looking for a fight. Just leave these people alone.
Huh, really? You think you can flash that badge and get all high and mighty with us? Boys, I think this one needs a lesson. Get him!
Whoa! What was that spell just now? Alright, let's summon up something. Is the old guy still alive? Yeah, he's okay. Let's see. Why am I not attacking?
Let's do this.
There we go. So, nice. This guy's done for.
So it must be.
And just the archer, and we're good.
So it continues.
Let's talk to the old man now.
Did you bring them here, son?
Hold on. He's your son?
He is.
Huh. Alright. Well, Kaiawu said you could give us information about the deity you worship. The god of light.
Then he overstepped his bounds. There is nothing, I will tell you.
Ancestors, father. At least hear them out. They just saved your life.
Which might not have been necessary if you hadn't shown up. But, fine. Speak. So, you came here because you think we know how to kill the god of light.
Wow, it has brains, Quackers.
Actually, any information would help. We know nothing about it except that it apparently wants to re-enter our world.
In that case, you're best advised to leave it at that. Once Jakku has begun, there is no stopping it.
Jakku?
The Alyani prophecy of the end. The eon-old pattern ensuring that one day, Sheol dead will devour us all.
I respect your faith, but isn't there anything we can do to convince you? We need answers.
I am sorry. And the soil shall breathe rot, soaked in poison and blood. The scrolls, verse 2. Jakku has begun, and this plague is just one of its many omens. So regardless of what I tell you, the fate of this world is sealed already. Just go. Turn around, spend time with your loved ones. Enjoy what little time you have left.
Look, father, I don't think you're seeing the full picture. Yes, maybe Jakku is inevitable, but what about our people? If we don't find food soon, people will start dying, and the fugitives still control the parts of the valley the plague hasn't poisoned yet. If the answers we give these outsiders won't change anything anyway, why not let them help us? For the sake of our tribe.
As persuasive as your mother. Fine. Outsider, are these troops of yours that you mentioned large enough to match the fugitives?
They will be if we fight smart. So that's the deal? We handle the purity in return for information?
The bandits and the plague. You deal with both, and we give you your answers.
Son, what?
I don't know, Kaiawu. My division can deal with the purity, but I don't see how we can help with the fog.
You can destroy its source. The fungi.
Fungi?
Yes. They are what's causing this. The first of them appeared some weeks ago, and wherever they grow, they rot the soil and produce this fog. We think it's their spores. The beetles came around the same time, so they probably live in some kind of symbiotic relationship. Now, if someone were to destroy the fungi, maybe the fog would...
disappear.
Yes, and we know how well this worked out for Ukwe and Zama, don't we? Those fugitives are one thing, the plague is another. It's part of Jakku, and it can't be stopped.
Why are you so resigned? Maybe your son is right and the plague can be fought back.
Spoken like a true outsider, offended by the notion that sometimes there are forces at work which are beyond your understanding. Please, I don't think there's any point in me trying to explain our ways to you. We are simply too different.
Who are Ukwe and Zawa?
Two hunters. They tried to destroy the fungi from a distance, as the fog made it impossible to get up close. Suffice it to say that it didn't go well. The beetles came, And now our village has 2 more grieving widows.
When you say a symbiotic relationship, do you mean the beetles and the fungi feed off each other?
We think so, yes. It would explain why they both appeared at the same time, and why the beetles protect the fungi like their own eggs.
Ugh.
So, you think this plague is connected to your prophecy?
The wise women say so. And even if they didn't, the 3rd verse of the scrolls speaks for itself. And the soil shall breathe rot, soaked in poison and blood.
So you think, what, did the God of Light send those fungi to corrupt your lands?
Sent them? No. I think that they are the expression of a particular stage in the pattern.
That's a strange coincidence.
It is not a coincidence.
Those fugitives are religious fanatics. Maybe they planted the fungi.
That's unlikely. They probably came here to escape justice, so what would they gain from poisoning the land?
I agree with your friend. They seem to be as upset about the fog as we are.
Fair enough. All right. We can try destroying the fungi, but we'll need a way to get past the fog.
Then you'll have to search for it. Maybe driving the fugitives out of the valley will give options we didn't have.
That's a big maybe.
I know. But I'm afraid it's all I have to offer.
Fair enough. So we have a deal, Chieftain. We handle the fugitives and the plague, and you give us information?
Seems like my son has made the decision for me. Fine. If you have to fail to see futility, then so be it. Let us talk about those fugitives. According to our scouts, they have 4 commanders. One of them, a man named Thedric, being their leader. Apart from him, each commander is in charge of one of their camps. You should find him there. Thedric himself, on the other hand, moves around a lot, probably to ascertain everything in the camp is going to his liking. Always be on the lookout. Well, and that is all I can tell you. I wager that if you tear down their main encampment, the rest will flee. Good luck, General Erev.
He remembered the name. Ooh.
What now, General?
Let's get our outpost into solid shape first. I'm sure it won't be long before those bandits come looking for their negotiator.
Until next time, like and subscribe. Ta-ta.